Good evening and welcome to a matchup between Liquid Husband and MrDunlo in the All-Board Snow Swords Redux Swiss rounds. I'm Furious K and joining me is Spear Magic Helmet. These two are fairly strong runners and both have been in the community for quite some time. Liquid Husband has been a big part of the community as far as commentary goes, but is also a fairly competent runner in his own right. And MrDunlo most recently was in charge of our swordless battle royale, so he has plenty of swordless experience.
Excellent. Hi everybody, this is Spear Magic Helmet as Fury. Looking forward to this race. I believe we saw, I might have done commentary for Liquid Husband his previous run. I'm not as familiar with MrDunlo. Fury, what could you tell me about MrDunlo and his gameplay?
Well, like I said, MrDunlo was in charge of the battle royale for the swordless battle royale. So he ran a fairly similar event to this, except they didn't have the red candle set up just yet, as that was part of this. We did see a Armos grab. I think it's a red ring. Yeah, it's a red ring with level 2, 4, and 8.
That'll give them a really good defense boost early on. It helped at this stage of exploration where they have more tools to do anything else, so that's pretty cool. MrDunlo, I'm assuming, is the more experienced swordless, so he probably benefits less from it. So I would imagine that Liquid Husband would be a company too.
It's hard to say. Liquid Husband, I think, if you asked him, he'd probably be more comfortable with the Sworded Seed. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure he was in the last swordless tournament we did. If I'm mistaken, I'm sure I'll get corrected here momentarily, but I don't know that either one of them is necessarily stronger or weaker at combat than the other. Maybe a slight edge to Dunlo just because he's had more recent experience with it, but I would not really say that it really is a big enough impact to kind of give somebody a strong enough lead or edge.
Got a pretty small secret there at 3.
But yeah, I think if nothing else, I would say that real life commitments is probably the biggest edge in combat difference between these two runners. I think both have some commitments, but I know that Liquid Husband has a lot more going on week to week, so that probably makes it a bit of a struggle to get a lot of practice in.
That makes a lot of sense. So we have 24 bombs. No, the arrows are a little bit more expensive. So I'm sure they're especially hurting the bombs from what we know about the secret so far. That's going to be a little bit rough on early exploration, especially since MrDunlo looks like he's kind of Death Mountain area. Liquid Husband looks like those heading up to level 5. I'm guessing after it gets. I was completely wrong about Death Mountain demos in 1. 99 for large secret, that's pretty much balanced. But Dunlo could get some bombs now if he comes across the shop, which will give him. I'm seeing some, I don't know what you think, but I'm seeing some pretty.
Now, it looks like it's going to be mostly overworld exploration for the meantime, at least, between these two runners. Is trying to solidify the red candle and even the blue candle at this point will go a long way in getting them a little bit closer to being able to combat their way through dungeons. You really hate to go into a dungeon with just bombs and no keys, and in Liquid Husband's case, just walking in with nothing to use is going to be a bit of a struggle, so...
Sorry about that, Fury.
No worries.
So what did I miss? Looks like not a lot.
No, they're still looking for offense of any sort. No candle yet for free, at least, and yet neither one of them have any money, so it's kind of hard to go anywhere with that.
Looks like Dunlo spent most of his money on bomb drops. Oh, and he found level 8.
Yep, but only 2 bombs to his name, so not a lot you can do in there. Might as well leave and still hunt. I would almost stay on the overworld until you can get a blue candle and 8 bombs at minimum, and then maybe you can consider saving and kind of working your way through a dungeon. But I'd still operate mostly on save and quitting, as Dunlo did find a blue candle. Did he purchase that? I didn't actually see.
It would be in his B spot. Dunlo did grab the blue candle that's in his B right now.
Yeah, I just didn't see if he found the one for free or if he gave up and just bought it at the shop for the rupees.
Looking at his rupee count, I think he would have found it for free. Because I was keeping track of his rupees, and that was about how many he had a few minutes ago. Unless he found it while I was cutting it out.
Yeah, check. Confirming he did, in fact, buy it, so he gave up looking for it. So I guess Liquid Husband's going to go on the search for it still, as he just has 6 rupees. He can't even play the gambling game to kind of get into shape to buy it if he gets lucky with the gambles. Dunlo did win. I saw it, I think it was like 20s for the win, and the lows were not so bad, so it's potentially something you can use if it's close to start.
Dunlo found the second large secret there. So he's sitting pretty. I noticed that the Overworld monster set here looks fairly easy so far. We're not seeing a lot of the big hitters, so those are going to... That's, I would imagine, promises for some pretty difficult dungeons, like Whiz Roads, Dark Nuts, all of the more dreaded things. I haven't even seen any blue Lionels in the Overworld yet.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of Lionels kind of mixed in screens with red and blue. I haven't seen the outright blue too much yet. What's worth noting, though, is we see the blues there. It looks like Stalfos are up, which would replace your Tektites, as they're kind of a smaller grouping in the dungeon, so they will go up or down based on Tektites moving. The way the randomizer is designed is primary enemies, so it can be Pole's Voice occasionally, Dark Nuts, Gorilla, and Wizrobes will take the primary slot of either the Moblins or the Lionels. And then the Pole's Voice technically can be a secondary, I think, so they can also swap out with the Tektites, but otherwise it'll be stuff like the Ropes. It could be the Stalfos that can come up from the dungeons. Those could go into that Tektite slot, and that's kind of how it operates.
It's interesting. I didn't know that there was a way to determine what the dominant slot was before you jumped in and out of the room. That's news to me.
Yeah, it's something that's not really apparent unless you're kind of playing what I think I'm probably 1,500 deep in races, so it's I played enough to kind of recognize exactly what's going on, and there's definitely some different groupings for the overworld swapping of enemies. So the only thing that really gets tricky, I think, is like Pole's Voice if they kind of get swapped up a group. But as noted by Dark Falls, our tracker, it's why you only really see 2 major enemies. And the major enemies, I mean Gorilla, Wizrobe, and Dark Nuts, as we may see an item in one here in a second. That's
the
nice.
latter.
Yeah, that's a nice item. But yeah, you'll only see 2 of those big 3. I include Pole's Voice just because sometimes you'll see a Dark Nut Wizrobe set in a dungeon. And if that happens, that usually means the 3rd enemy set has something like a Wizrobe, or not Wizrobe, Pole's Voice is its primary. There's a couple questions in chat about the sprite that Liquid Husband is using. He's using the Bo Jackson one from Tecmo Super Bowl, or Tecmo Bowls, excuse me, threw the super in there. But yeah, he likes using that sprite. It's pretty well known for it.
Well, Bo knows randomizers. Mr. Dunlo tempted by the clock there for a second, but he hops out. Not that he could have continued to fight them anyway, but
Yeah, looks like we got the Wizrobe set in one, so ideally we'll find the items we need in rooms that aren't filled with either blue Wizrobes or, in the case of Mr. Dunlo, blue Links. Yeah, there's not too many people that use a full enemy swap out anymore as far as their sprites. We've kind of suggested not doing too much with that anymore. I think Shaddy's one that uses Mario sprites, but they're pretty apparent as to what they are. And then I think there's a couple more. I think Cantaloupe Mew, when he's in tournaments, has his own. Same with Dragon Dark has his own.
Cantaloupe doesn't have a full set, right? But he has like Troll Dongos and a couple others, I think, right?
Yeah, he has a couple swapped out, but it's enough to where it can occasionally be confusing if you don't know what to expect.
At least with Troll Dongo, like you've got a partial sprite there, so you can get the idea. Plus, how many different things are 2 sprites wide?
Yeah, I think Sputosaurus might also have kind of a Pokemon-themed one going right now, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there's not too many that run with a full swap anymore.
Looks like the small secret's the only secret that's a little bit light, so they're probably not going to be hurting. Large is 99, medium is 31, so they balance out to perfectly average.
Yeah, Liquid Husband worked all the way up to 200-something rupees, and since Blue Ring's off the table, might go for a double bomb pack, and I might even buy the wood arrows just to get that out of the way in case you find the bow. And I think that's what Bow is going to do.
Wood arrows are kind of a 2-camp divider in Randomizer, right? Like some people feel really strongly you should buy them, and others feel that you shouldn't. That there's other things, right?
I'm in camp. I want to buy keys pretty much as my main thing early on, unless I see a really cheap blue candle and there's a ton of money on the overworld. And the reason why I like to do that is because level 1 has been rather notorious in randomizers for having, or in the Zelda 1 randomizer community, I should say, for being very key blocked. And if it's linear and small and key blocked, then you're forced to use a lot of keys in there. If you're searching that out as your main dungeonist, did we see the bait blocker? Oh, no, that's 9. Never mind. So level 9's found. But if you go into one early on, like you would want to do, and you have no keys purchased, and you haven't been in another dungeon to get keys, then you're kind of struggling through a whole bunch of rooms there.
That makes a good amount of sense. Does anyone, I've always wondered this, because I'm very much more a spectator of the randomizer than a player. Do people have a tendency to hang on to money just so they can get the extra bombs if they come across them in dungeons?
I would think that's going to be pretty apparent in this tournament. The first All Boards No Swords tournament went into second quest money, and so you didn't have as much, so the bomb upgrades in dungeons weren't really sought after, even though there were occasions where you arguably needed a bomb upgrade just to kind of complete because of second quest. But with this, with first quest money, there's never even truly a poverty seed. I think we worked it out that like 320 rupees-ish was the absolute worst it could be, and so you'd always have enough money to get what you need out of it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Mr. Dunlo has a 1 in 3 chance now of getting the red candle if he finds it. For those that aren't familiar with it, he would 4 is 1 in 3, 5 is 2 in 3, and then 6 hearts would be 100% chance of finding the red candle because it's located in the white sword cave in this seed, and the hearts required to get it, which would be in vanilla, would be 5, or randomized from 4 to 6.
Yeah, we found that the ladder has led us directly to a bomb upgrade on the coast, which replaced the white sword. So that's going to be helpful. And right after Liquid Husband buys the candle, he finds the freebie one just below the Armos, and we find that you need the blue candle to get the red candle, which is 4 hearts, right below it.
Oh, look at that.
So Dunlo out to an early lead here. It's just going to take 1 heart for Liquid Husband to get that, though. So if it's something that you can find in one of these bomb spots down below, I didn't see exactly where Dunlo found his heart container, but if you find one, you're going right back there and you've got it.
Wasn't it right here? Am I wrong? No.
I don't think so. I think he was a little further away than this. Might be lucky enough that it's on the south bomb coast, and if that's the case, then maybe Liquid Husband goes that way. No, he's going to backtrack for now.
A +2 bomb sitting on the coast, unlike the ones you purchase in dungeons, just increases your bomb. Correct me if I'm wrong. It just increases your bomb limit. It doesn't give you a bomb refill. So not quite as worth going out of your way to get as something that would refill your bombs would be. It's still something that they're not going to balk at, but I imagine that it might be a skip for some of these players.
So that's the way it worked up until the last update before this tournament. There was some issues that prevented the bomb upgrade from the white sword and magical sword from sometimes refilling you, but we got another item pick up here, I think, in level 3. Nope, segmented. Hey, that's fun. Now, the white sword and magical sword 100% of the time refill your bombs, so they are a little bit more valuable than they used to be as of, like, literally one patching node.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me know. I don't assume I know anything anymore.
Well, you might know something and it might change within one patch, so it's just one of those things where you gotta figure out where the last patch was and what happened. In this case, it definitely was something that we wanted to see, because it was one of those things where the bomb upgrade occasionally would still give it to you depending on circumstances, and not knowing whether you get that or not was kind of weird, so glad to see it consistent now.
Yeah, that is nice. And it's nice for them in this race, because that's going to help out with swordless especially.
You know what's funny? That heart container in level 5 is actually probably the best thing he could find right now, because he's not very far from where the red candle is, so if he wants to go back and check, he can go back and check, and he'll get his red candle. It's a rare time where the heart container could really benefit him if he decides to go back quickly. The other thing I would say that runners don't do often enough in this, and probably would benefit more from, is exactly what Liquid Husband just did. He found the item early in level 5, and he said, I'm not going to stick around here for too long. I'm going to go ahead and bail out of here, and I'm going to keep looking for more items, because if I have more items like the wand, the red candle, any key, ladder, bow, I have enough stuff that can get me through the dungeon at a speed that's way, way greater than I would clear it now. So I think that's a really smart strategy, unless you're in a dungeon that's way away from your starting location. Just get the item, get out of there until you have faster progression through the dungeon.
There's the power bracelet. That's going to be pretty handy. Have we seen the Any Road so far? I don't believe we have.
To my knowledge, we haven't seen too much of the Any Roads just yet. I don't think we've seen the runners come across any of them. Liquid Husband is back over by the red candle. Nope, Dark Falls is correcting me. We have seen 2 of the 4. We just haven't seen them all.
We've seen 2 of the 4, then that would put the power bracelet on par with the raft right now. Unless, I'm sorry, Dark Falls, how many of those were under the push blocks for the power bracelets? Do you know where any of them?
It'd be surprising if there were too many underneath the normal spots.
Just point that out to balance out. That will open up 4 new spots then, provided that we haven't seen 1 through A. Oh, you can clip into power bracelet spots? No, I wouldn't think you.
He means if you're once you open
you already
them,
found it, right?
Yeah. Anyways, we saw the Any Road there taken by Dunlo, so I know where 2 of them are. And Mr. Dunlo did take a potion already. So he took it from the take any one at 4 hearts once he got his red candle, seeing as you're basically on 16 hearts at that point. You don't necessarily need to go get a whole bunch more heart containers unless you're really chasing that magical bomb upgrade, which I don't think either runner really will in this seed.
A lot of sense with a red ring kicker in there. Dunlo's sitting really well on gems right now. Thinking about the arrow if I needed it. I'd come across it. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, Liquid Husband's now getting to his ladder, so probably we'll see him eventually go get that bomb upgrade. Probably will go ahead and spend bombs more freely, knowing that's available in dungeons as opposed to trying to conserve as much. Because he'll get that one-off chance to refill at minimum before the end of the seed. Looks like the Grave push block is just a bomb and arrow shop, so that's not particularly useful. So Liquid Husband's now only 1 Triforce piece behind, but I don't really think that's a big factor to this point. The Triforce and the Power Bracelet in 3 are both not too difficult to get to.
If you were them, at what point would you think about looking for 8? Would you fill it and complete pretty much all the other items before you did? Or would you be going in there earlier, given that it has 2 items?
I really would prefer not to go into 8 if I didn't have to without the book in hand, just because you don't really have a good feel for where it's going to be, and 8 is one of those dungeons where the map logic doesn't have to be directly available right off the bat at start. It can be 1 or 2 bomb holes deep, or behind some keys and some other stuff. Liquid Husband's going to take the drop-in bombs knowing that the bomb upgrade's on the coast, and you hate dropping keys anyways.
That's a pretty smart move. Got the recorder.
Yep, so at this point, he's going to walk out of the dungeon maybe. I don't think there's really too much else for him to get in here, so walking out's fine.
Now, Dunlo didn't get the recorder, so if we get a block with a recorder for recorder late being required, or help me with the big quote. What was the name?
The Dig Dogger?
Thank you so much. Yes, the Dig Dogger. If we don't get a Dig Dogger block and Recorder Lake isn't required, then it's not that big of a deal, but it is a nice way to travel around the overworld. So it's a pretty reasonable disadvantage that Dunlo didn't get it. I don't know when he's going to be planning on getting into one. So yeah. We'll just have to see if it's required or just an indicator.
I would say that level 1's probably not the worst spot to go back to. So it might be a short-term inconvenience, but if he finds himself locked out of the dungeon here, as we'll find out momentarily as we hear the Pokemon Center theme, I think, then he'll go back there first, so it's only going to put him behind a little bit. In this case, it's just money of some sort.
3. That's pretty important.
So, unless there's Dig Dogger blocks, Flute's not necessarily super important. I don't know that we've missed out on any of our dungeons we started with, so unless one has seen, I don't know that Liquid Husband's seen every dungeon that Dunlo's seen. I know both of them have seen 1 and 8. I don't know if both have seen 4.
That's a pretty linear level 2.
Well, if we haven't seen 4, fluting to 4 and finding out where it's at and checking it for items might be a reasonable play to make sooner or later. Hey, there's a Dig Dogger there. That could be fun. I'm not sure if we found a floor drop in that room already standing, or if it's going to be blocking something, but chances are pretty low it's blocking. I think Dunlo, I should say, not my tracker, is going to try and bomb the wall and bomb the darkness at the same time, trying to get 2 for the price of 1, and he did pull it off. And gets a bomb drop. I would... You could take the refill and go back to start at that point, but I guess it doesn't matter too much with the red ring. And there is the bomb upgrade pickup from the coast for Liquid Husband.
So unless that Dig Dagger is a valuable floor drop, he's probably okay.
Yeah, there's going to be some opportunities for some blocks later. There's the community hint that's fitting, I guess. And this is not going to be a drop. So if he's not seen the item in 2, I think it's officially blocked unless it's all the way up in that little path upwards.
That's what he's going to try right now, so we'll find out pretty soon. It'd be pretty significant, though, if that's
silvers. So silvers and Bale out of 2.
It's handy to have.
Yep, handy, but I would think that it's probably the lowest of the go mode items priority-wise to find. You prefer to have your bow or your wand before you have that, just because they immediately give you offense, whereas the silvers will be nice when you find the bow, but you might not find it for a while.
It saves you from purchasing the magic arrows, and when you do get the bow, you get the only thing in swordless that can hit us on the sword. Unless you're... yeah, the only thing. So it'd be nice to have if you do get the bow.
Yeah, but as noted, important items can be in 9, so if the bow rolls to 9, it might be a while before Bo or Mr. Wizro find it.
It's very fair. That's not exactly like Dunlo's hurting for rupees right now.
Here's level 7. I think you gotta look inside here and kind of look around the first couple rooms for potential staircase. You can't get very far in this room, so it's just a up A, I think. That you're gonna try and bomb through. So we're just down to level 6 as far as dungeon knowledge goes. And we've not seen a lot of Death Mountain, and we haven't seen a lot of this enemy set until just now.
Silly question, but if you had wanted to get through that room, and you fired yourself to death, took a death, and continued that way, it would make no difference, right? Monster sets would still... any damage you did... No, because you'd have to leave the room to take any credit for what you cleared out of there.
Yep, he could have... now that we see the map, he could have tried to bomb to the right and see if he can escape through a bomb hole, but chose not to because he didn't have the map at that point. And this is like the least of... I would say this is my least favorite room in Swordless.
He'll have 2 bombs to lose.
Because this room will keep respawning, so if this is a transport as opposed to a item drop, or it's nothing. But if it's a transport, it'd be worse, to be honest, because it's going to keep respawning. So as bad as that felt, probably, you can't kill the Alchemist without bombs either, so you're just going to burn it for fun. I think you've got to go through the key door here if you're not willing to bomb. I know it's awful to go down to 1 key, but you can find another replacement key like this one and be okay still. And you might have an item over here, such as the bow itself could be in this room underneath this bush block, and you'd feel real bad if you didn't burn that 1 key just to clear these 2 rooms out.
It's a tough call because you're paying 1 key to potentially just unlock 2 rooms, but I do agree. In this case, it didn't. In this case, he broke even except for time.
Yep, so now he gets to go to the right here. He's got 2 rooms that he can look at, assuming that the staircase isn't a one-off staircase to the room below him here. That could be the only other situation that occurs.
Gels rolled up.
Yeah, the splitting gels at least did. We'll have to figure out if the ones that start on the floor normally will be different. We're going to get a good look at the compass. And this is actually an important room to find as well because it's red Gorilla, so he could, in theory, up an A here, come straight back to this room and do it again until he gets his bomb drop. Because he's probably only going to need 1 or 2 bombs to clear that Aqua Menace and get further in this dungeon if he really wants to. He could also try and bomb to the left in that room. And if he did that, maybe it would open. He could start killing and see if the Pulse Voice is the primary in that room. That would be his other option. Because if the Pulse Voice isn't the primary, as you were noting earlier, if you kind of reset out of that not reset out of it, but leave the room and come back to it, it'll potentially keep changing the enemy for you, if you're lucky. If you're not lucky and the Pulse Voice is the main, then there's nothing you can do about it.
I would waste 1 bomb on that.
If you're going to go that far, I would still do it. Dunlo is going to confirm you cannot bomb that room, so that Pulse Voice room is blocking from there. If you get a bomb shop here on Candle Row, though, I think you have to go back.
If I'm not mistaken, Liquid Husband had bombed that room too. I feel like I knew that it was not a bombs.
He went in there the first time and didn't touch it, and I think he's been at 1 bomb since, so I'm not sure if he did or not, but...
Okay.
He didn't do it initially because he didn't have the map to know. There's also another red Gria room there. You have to reset the dungeon or up A out of that room because the traps will prevent him from respawning with it.
Hey, you got the bomb.
Yeah. Liquid Husband may not be prioritizing going back right away because it's level 7. It just kind of feels bad, but I still think that enemy set is better than the Dark Nut or the Wizrobe set, where you have to get lucky with directionally bombing the Dark Nuts. And in the Wizrobes, you have to hope that the red Wizrobes didn't roll up 1 or 2 HP, because then, of course, you have to spend 2 bombs every time you try. Let's see if Dunlo decides to go ahead and bomb the Aqua Menace.
Would you have done it with 2 bombs? Would you have used up your bomb set? I feel like I would have way more experienced. Warded with a key.
I would have 100% bombed, even with 1 bomb just to see, or counted my way into it. Immediate item is the book, so this would open up 8 for me personally now, because I know what I'm looking at.
And this seats that the book counts as the Atlas, so Dunlo's just gotten the map for every dungeon. And fire on his wand if he gets it, unfortunately. One thing Fred's been really good at with this is rewriting the purpose of the items so that they all have, even the least relevant items, have a new value. And things that would normally become obsolete because of the randomizer. The hints, for example, being customizable. Not in this seed, this is community hints, but in other versions, make it really, really good for there being kind of no waste, even though it's a randomizer. I put a lot of respect for the way he's interpreted it. The book is one good example of that.
Yeah, we saw the bomb upgrade. It is obtainable for Mr. Dunlo. He did not find the compass, which was, I think, in the room, kind of one off by itself underneath the 7 that you had to bomb into. So he's not going to know exactly where this Triforce is, and he's going to keep trying to conserve his resources by walking around key doors. He's also burnt himself there, I think, to reset so that he can get another... Well, it's going to be difficult with the bomb upgrade sitting there, affordable, but I thought maybe he's resetting his count to figure out his global.
I was trying to figure out if that was a damage boost for speed. It seemed kind of silly, though.
Yeah, my best guess is he was resetting himself thinking it was an old man there, but then realized the bomb upgrade's kind of in his way. Level 8's the same enemy set as level 7, so the single Dodonga room will not respawn, so you can go ahead and kill this and not have to worry about it ever again. So maybe this will be an item or a transport. And the bomb upgrade is 3, and that transport is nothing because the block didn't push.
Chevy room. You're right, by the way, these gels did not roll up, so they're one shot. 1 or 0.
Yeah, I kind of like that those are separate enemy values too. Like the vires that split the keys can be different. There's actually, in second quest, I think there's 2 keys categories, the blue keys and the black keys, and they have different HP values as well. So you always got to at least test each one to see if they've rolled way up, rolled to 0, rolled at all different than normal.
Did Fred ever experiment with randomizing the hit points for fast and slow Octoroks too?
They are, in fact, a thing. The red and the fast and the slow Octoroks should potentially roll a different value. Could also just roll the same by chance. I'll say this though, this level 7 is very key profitable. Like, he can explore the rest of the dungeon and burn keys and still likely end up with 3 or 4 by the time he's out of here. I want to say we're about to the Triforce room here though, if I remember correctly. I think the next room over might have been it. Oof.
Dunlo's probably glad that he's been managing his bombs pretty well. Zelda is not in her room. I thought this compass pointed to here. I'm wondering if this is where it is.
Well, this is even worse if the Pole's voice are the primary. Like, the other one just feels bad because you gotta waste a lot of bombs to find out, but at least you can kill that room.
Oh, he lucked out.
That's pretty lucky. I'm still pretty confident it's the triple Dodonga room.
Yeah, I would agree with you now.
And I think before you get away from that room, I think you have to go ahead and give it a shot.
Why did he clear those 2 rooms out then? Just to find a key or something? Or looking for the item in that? No, he has the item, so was he just trolling for a key there?
Probably, or another bomb drop to get back up again. It feels really awful to leave this room behind, though. Oh yeah, it's also worth noting he does not have the compass, so he's just trying to figure out where this is still. So he's going to keep on looking. But I would still make the case that it's... Ooh, that's a segment. I would still make the case you don't want to leave that one room behind. I would go back now before leaving it behind and feeling bad about it later. And that's what I think he's going to do. Nope, burning the key. So, the bad news for Liquid Husband is he didn't find much in level 8. The good news for Liquid Husband is he's going to be able to probably do this 7 a lot quicker, because he's going to find the book after he kills the Aqua Menace and move along.
Here we go.
Yeah, he's going to be glad he cleared this room. Just hate to leave this behind.
Yeah, this is some good piece of money. Now, he did get the compass there. Maybe I'm not nuts, but didn't we see the compass in that room from either him or Liquid Husband at some point? Am I wrong?
The Liquid Husband, it was in the room that you have to bomb into near start, and Dunlo had 2 bombs left and didn't want to do it.
But somehow I knew that room and the one next to it was the one with the Triforce. I'm not psychic. So I thought that one of them had the compass for this dungeon at one point.
Yeah, Liquid Husband definitely has the compass for level 7. He didn't want to bomb the Aqua Menace and go down and get it.
Okay.
So Dunlo went that way. He tried to bomb to the right in the Pulse Voice room that's blocking your progress early on, instead of going to the room to the right, which is where the compass was. So he just ignored that room for a while, and ended up not going into it at all because he ended up getting the Triforce by just looking around and bombing the Dongos in the end.
Okay, so Dunlo did not know where the Triforce is. We just did because we're the commentators and we see both races.
Yes, we see both. Liquid Husband's hoping that this guards the silvers. Unfortunately, it's going to go one north. He doesn't know it's the silvers in here, of course, but ideally that room drops and he feels better about his early recorder find. This room only drops in second quest, so you don't necessarily have to clear it in first quest, but you may not have that information. It's kind of one of those where you have to memorize room drops, and this is not something you try and memorize as much if you don't play second quest. That's a lovely 5.
Double bomb drop, that's handy.
Yeah, so Liquid Husband's not going to make up any ground in this 2. He doesn't need to make up a lot of time. I'd just say that he's maybe 2 or 3 minutes behind until he gets back into 7, and if with the compass and all, he'll make up the ground there. So, essentially even still. Gonna say no to that. He's gonna directly just turn around, so I think he may actually save a handful of rooms here after all, instead of upping or taking the Triforce to get his health refilled. He's just gonna walk it back, and I think the silvers are just standing free on the floor without a kill up here.
The level 5 Inkblot, I'm thinking highlight.
Yeah, I got nothing. Just that's ugly for 5, pretty much.
A meteor about to land in a forest, maybe. I saw highlight.
Yeah. Tracker sees a moon on the right side of it. Not sure what's in the left. It's definitely not man the moon situation, but it's yeah. Crescent moon's fair enough. Liquid Husband's gonna take the health refill for free, because why not?
We wanted to find the Coast Heart.
Yeah, that Coast Heart in 5 is way less important for Dunlo than it was for Liquid Husband, because remember that got Liquid Husband his red candle.
If I was Dunlo, though, I would have rather seen literally any item than the Coast Heart at that point. Even a boomerang would have almost been more tempting. Level 1 on the Vanilla Star.
Yeah, so Dunlo's coming back here because he wants to solve what the second item in here is, and it's just... It's too potentially easy to get to. There is a way potentially around this. Oh, he's going to save instead. Interesting. Oh, I know what he's doing. This is fair. Or I thought I did. I thought he was going to flute back to 1 after saving, see what the item is, and then if it's any use, he was going to just bail. That's what I thought he was setting up. Turns out I have no idea where he's going to go next.
I feel like the wand is the biggest advantage for Liquid Husband. If nothing else, because saving him a lot of walking.
Oh, he can't flute back here. I'm a fool. He has no flute. It's in 1. Oh, in any event, he's going to 4. See, I don't remember everything either. Look at me go.
Don't worry. I'm sure I'll do something to make you look really good in a couple seconds.
Well, if you dug level 1 after the reset, you'd have his flute. And he probably wouldn't reset out of it. So there.
Okay, Dad. You sound like when I'm talking to my friend. If we left, we would be stuck in this traffic.
Speaking of stuck in traffic, we're stuck with this dark nut, which is not fun. All these shutter doors blocking us in. And we have another potential item. Well, no, never mind. Just standing items. Got the Triforce, I think, out of 5 on Liquid Husband's side based on where he's leaving. So it's one of those where he felt that he could get through it easy enough with a red candle and a red ring, and he went for it.
Level 4 is definitely a terrier. So he's going to have to waste a lot of bombs if he comes through this room a lot.
No dice in that room.
Let's try Force Scott.
Yeah, Triforce we already had, but since you're going to leave that area, you can just take the free health refill and continue.
Even at the cost of resetting the enemies, I guess, right? Because when you come out in, you'd be resetting. He's just going to bomb down and... A Patra. That'll ruin your day, having to walk through that too many times. Nice use of the bombs there. I might have cleared out that extra dark note, though.
You can come back to it, especially if you're paying attention to where your count is. Maybe you can come back when it's a potential for a 40% bomb drop. He almost bombed the wall there. I saw him go for it. He was like,
I was saying just to flip open that shutter door and not have to clear the bombs out, because that room down is just to peek into the room, and then you could have gone on.
well, he may have saved himself a little bit of time and potentially a bomb to look at this room. This is usually a standing item for, but occasionally it likes to troll and be the item staircase. Since this is one of the few rooms that's like level dependent as to where it's going to drop versus where it can't drop. So here it dropped a compass, but any other dungeon pretty much it won't drop. Question in chat, is 6 blocked? The answer, we don't know. We have a lot of Death Mountain to look at. We have a couple other extra spots out there in the wild.
So that Patra could be guarding an item, correct?
To be honest, I was looking at the other screen, so I didn't see exactly what the room formation was.
It was a Patra in a room with a single block in the middle.
Oh, this blue dark nut room. That blue dark nut room is 100% it, and he's got to go force a bomb somewhere.
So this room right here is definitely not it?
The single block can be it. It's usually at level 4, but that double block room just like reeks of being the item for me.
Yeah, I suppose so. Although it would be interesting if it was. It's really tricky. Who's lucky to get out of that?
So some people like to think of these as being more skewed to their vanilla drop room setup, and if that's the case, then runners might think that that single block room is actually going to be the item more often. But I think that's I think it's biased personally as far as that goes. He did force his bomb, so he's going to be able to clear more of these. He could opt to keep trying to force if he wanted.
Some good pausing strats going on.
He got some really good bomb. Both skill and luck combined there. And this is going to be another force now that he's got it down to a single one.
That's clever. So for people that don't understand, what he's doing when he torches the sky is not being salty. Each one of these fires counts as 3 kills. If he gets 9 built up and the 10th one is an enemy kill with a bomb, then that enemy must drop a bomb. If it's not an enemy that drops, like a bat or a gel, a piece or a gel, then it will not drop, but the next enemy killed will drop a bomb.
What's scary about this, though, is he has to get both of these. If that guy would have turned, there's the heart, so actually it's going to be its vanilla room. Unless there's another single push block way over on this under this red dark dot room you pointed out earlier.
So what you're saying is that the Patra, unless it's in this last room, the Patra room is the item and the item is wand blocked.
Yeah, pretty much. It doesn't say that the wand is outside of 9 because this item here, well, it's not going to be an item because the shutter closed, so he doesn't even have to clear it. But this does not prevent the wand from going to 9 because it's just the item. It's only if Triforces aren't obtainable that will prevent it from going to 9. Liquid Husband's looking at this room like, I feel like this is necessary. Yeah, exactly, Darkfalls. So the way that this tournament works, for those wondering, is if you have any items in your inventory at the start of the seed that you've been given to by the flag set, or any Triforces, those are all on one tab, and those do not affect logic at all. So the fact that we got Triforces 2, 4, and 8, if those Triforces are wand blocked, that still means the wand's outside 9 because that logic wasn't considered.
Dunlo just looking for 6.
So if we gave you like the wand for free in a swordless seed, and you had a wand blocking a Triforce, still would put the extra wand outside of 9, even.
Still running after that fairy. Liquid has been pretty smart clearing out the other enemies before figuring out what he's going to do with these new other guys. He's got to make pretty. He can miss one bomb if he's hitting them both at a time. Otherwise, he's got to reset, and he's lost his entire bomb investment. He's pulled it off once, so now he could kill them 1-on-1 if he needed to, which is what he would have had to do if he had done it. But now he's having a rage quit. Not a rage quit, but I felt his pain as he stood there. Somehow Bo Jackson stood a little bit more upright. That's right.
At this point, I think you just give up on 4 for the time being. It's just not going to pay off enough of the time. And you've got all of 8 still to look at, potentially, and level 6 to go potentially find. Dunlo gets kind of lucky that Octorok didn't get far enough away, so he got his Bound Force again. This could be a sequential seat coming up here with Raft required to get to level 6, and it could be in like level 8. Nope, never mind. Scratch it all off. 6 is way off in West DM. So level 6 is another one of those dungeons that gets a really bad rap in Randomizer because of how big it is for a single item. But I love going into 6 right off the bat in the seed because of how often it is that you can get a huge block of rooms available right off the bat. And if you can get to those rooms, if there's not like one key door blocking off the entire entryway, then you can suddenly find your way into 3 or 4 keys. And even if you don't stick around much longer and just leave the dungeon with 3 or 4 keys, it can open up the seed for you a lot more than perhaps avoiding it at first glance.
So you don't mind early in the game using bombs where there might not be a bombable spot? And just taking the chance?
I would rather take chances in 6 looking for items. and or keys at least on the floor for free or that sort of thing, rather than just bailing out. I've seen a lot of runners, I guess, so far just bail out of level 6 because it's huge and they don't want to deal with it right away. They'd rather go to a smaller dungeon. This is going to be a block clip for Dunlo. It's a good idea. I don't know that I like that specific block, but
I think
it's
they was
definitely
rushing at him and he just got the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. He got out of the way of the land mollusk. That's good. Do you potion this room? I think it might.
Being pretty clever about it, though. It's also significant. I don't know if you noticed. Triforce in this room now, so he will have all the pieces after he checks this to go into 9. It's just a key, hardly worth picking up all that walking.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to take the Triforce here, maybe.
I would take. I mean, you're the master at this, but I would take the Triforce and go into 9.
If we were one item away from seed completion, I might make the gamble with what's left. I think it's a little bit concerning to go for broke on both of them, or having it be sequential that you have to go to 9 to go back to 4 to get the bow after you get the wand kind of thing.
But aren't you doing double duty in 9 if you do that? Like, you still learn about 9, which is something you have to do later anyway, so you're just being productive about figuring out the layout of 9 while you're getting a chance at stumbling across the hidden gem.
Oh, that's a rough go. Oh, well, I thought for a second that his whole entire setup failed. It's kind of the thing that always concerns me about the console players, which is what Dunlo is doing. Because occasionally your equipment can go on you, but thankfully it was just a blip after he had saved, so no big deal.
That is lucky.
It was basically a reset.
Yeah, I'm sure he feels like someone walked over his grave for a second there. Unless he was intentionally resetting the global or something like that. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Yeah. It might be something that he did for the global, but I don't feel like the global's that necessary to reset with all of these moblins freely available 1 HP right off the start. I think I'd rather just work my way into it and save as opposed to global.
Looks like I still read Dunlo. Plus, he just walked into the fire there, and you feel like he would have reset something count with that.
Yeah. But to kind of revisit the 9 conversation, my only issue with 9 is if you're going in for 2 items, you're potentially in it for 14 staircases. If you were to go to 8 and at least get 1 item out of there before going to 9, you're in it for whatever the segments are plus 1 staircase.
You wouldn't go in and just leave if you hit the point where you found Zelda and Ganon and exploring the dungeon was no longer that productive?
No, I'd like to just get 1 item out of 8 first and then make my play. What complicates it a little bit for Mr. Dunlo, even further, is he did not get the recorder out of 1. I would definitely not leave an item in 1. 100% would not leave an item in 1.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that one at all. Do you think Dunlo feels like things have gone pretty well for him and he's doing this because it's sort of a Hail Mary since he knows he's in pretty good shape anyway? Like, he doesn't have as much to lose.
Well,
I guess that wouldn't be the case, right? Not without the wand and the bow.
Yeah, I think we got Aurora already. I think the issue that I don't know. I don't think you could ever count Liquid Husband completely out as being behind you, given the red ring right off the bat. If you felt like you had an advantage against him, it's a rust percent with a bit of inability to play, and the red ring will counteract that if you believe that that's the case. So I think that you can't really sit there and metagame what your opponent's done versus how you've done. You can potentially metagame that the item in 1 is just not super go-mode-y and is just like recorder, any key, raft, something like that. Because if that were the case, maybe Liquid Husband would be closer to done. But even still, it's 2 items missing, so the question will be how much do you have left once you find Ganon and Zelda? How many staircases did you have to take? How much time did you have to spend to do it?
Oh, again, she said the same thing I said earlier. We'll just catch you in the chat.
I would say with almost absolute certainty at this point, if you find an item in 9 and it's not wand or bow, with Ganon's knowledge alone, I would be bailing. I wouldn't even look for the second item right off the bat. I would instead, again, go back to 1, then work my way around from there. I would even... it sounds like there's a Wizrobe required room in level 8 to progress in there, so maybe that even puts 6 into play a little bit. Chat noting that he bombed that wall because he was trying to secure his path again, so that's why that room is open but not explored. And Pull's voice is dominant in this room, so that will not be your wand.
To put a pin in that one for later.
And Zelda's not right below Ganon's room.
We do have a ruby box.
I guess it could be the wand since you could get the bow somewhere. I'm still thinking the bow's in 4 underneath the wand. Just because I want it. I'm sure that would cause some people to root for that. At least 2 people to root for that come Wednesday.
Very frustrating shoot room to end up in.
And there's a lot of rooms kind of blocked off by potential bow or wand combat here. We're not out of rooms to look at, but it's still a little bit of a concerning situation developing.
Here's another one. Even when you're not blocked out of the room, there's a lot of these where you'd be going a lot faster and more smoothly. You could do a little more damage and still have the benefit of a more controllable ranged weapon.
Well, Liquid Husband gets iframed through the wall master there. A little bit of good fortune. The blue Wizrobe is the dominant enemy in here, but it's just 1, so it's not too awful with full bomb compliments and red ring, and it is your Triforce, so it's good to find. He did find his power bracelet out of there, so 3 is completely done.
As you said, not too big of a deal. He's got a pretty good slog ahead of him with 6 and 7, though.
The question in chat, bow is required in Zelda 1, right? And the answer is most of the time. If you have a open Zelda situation, then it can potentially still be required if Ganon is directly in the way somehow.
Depends.
But otherwise, that would be a situation where the bow would not be required. But we don't usually play too often with that flag, because it can really speed up a Ceta to just try to Triforce and go your way all the way to 9 and hope that's open. Another nice force by Dunlo. There's gotta potentially be a way around that still.
Both sides doing pretty well for keys right now. Liquid Husband was having a little trouble a little while ago with like 1 or 2. But I think their key troubles are over for this. The magic key is pretty obsolete.
Fitting you say that.
Maybe I am psychic.
He's going to stick it out. There aren't too many rooms left in this 9 that you can kind of look at right now and try and figure out if that's a wand or bow. I think I would skip trying to clear this room out since it looks like there's a lot of Pole's voice in there. You could maybe look to see if it's a similar situation to a room in level 7.
Yeah, it's not going to be a passage room anyway. You've got a way up there. This could be promising.
Yeah, what this is going to come down to some extent, is whether or not Liquid Husband goes straight to 9 once he gets all his Triforce pieces. Because even if there's one big item in here, which we have the bow, so that's helpful.
Right.
But even if there's one big item in here, if he finds the wand, say, if he digs the 6, let's say, and it happens to be the wand, he's going to go through 9 a ton quicker. Like, a ton quicker. And he might find extra staircases that kind of take him off the path, of course, but he might also find staircases that go directly there via the Patras that are guarding things.
On the other hand, Dunlo's full 2 dungeons ahead of him, just about, or a dungeon and a half, and all he needs is the wand.
Yeah, well, 6, if he takes the Triforce here, is going to be like another 30 seconds. And Liquid Husband also knows where the Triforce is in 7, and will find the book immediately. So he could be in 9 if he wanted to in about 4 minutes. And Dunlo's got to make this play. He's going to look up here first. He can go get bugged for his any key, so we ought to do that too pretty soon.
Even max bombs wouldn't have been that big of a hit at this point.
No, but we would have given him a little bit of a hard time afterwards for sacrificing bombs when he has an any key. I have seen it done. It's by the same person both times. I'm not going to call them out since they're not involved in this race, but I've seen it happen. Alright, so here comes level 8 first. And Liquid Husband's going to stay in 6, so this is potentially the game here.
Finding the wand is significant here because now Dunlo can't even be blocked by a Dig Dagger. The only thing that can really stop him now is, what, Patra?
Yep, if there's a Patra block in this 8, it really has to be specifically kind of impeding progress early for it to impact much. Like, it would have to block you out of things. Or Gliok, as was noted by Panzer Dave. I don't think... If it's blocking a item staircase, you know it's not the wand, so that would help a little bit, but you're hoping it would block a... The Gliok will have to block rooms off, same with the Patra. Because Gliok can't have a push block underneath him. The important knowledge for Dunlo is he's never going to have to go to 4 again. There is a world in which Liquid Husband takes a wand and goes back to level 4 to look for the bow there. I would argue that would be the correct play to make logically.
Have we seen many Gleoks? I can't think of one offhand.
Nope, I've not seen a single one so far.
So we might have just invoked the commentator's curse. That'll be yet to be seen.
You know, it would be great is if that second breakfast right there was blocking something. I think there's more than one way around that, but it would be funny. Alright, we have a potential item staircase here. We have two of them. In fact, Wand is in 6, Raft is in 8. Oh man, so now we have a race.
We do.
Now logically, the play is to go to 7 and then to 4 if you're playing this safe, because 7 you can get past that Aqua Menace with the wand, don't have to sacrifice bombs anymore. You're going to see the item potentially on the way, so that's why that would make a lot of sense. He's going to go to 4 and just go full metagame, which is fair. Well, he's got to get rid of the clock, though. We got clock trolled, that's fun.
4 is going to give him one of the boomerangs.
Yes. But he doesn't know that. For all he knows, it's the bow. So it's... In his shoes, digging the smallest dungeon where you know it's down to 2 rooms is the smartest play. Outside of level 7, which is where he's going to end up going. Level 7 would be the primary play because you're hoping to hit the item on the way. He's not going this way, though. He'd have to go the Aqua Menace direction to find it. I would think that Liquid Husband's probably going to go 9 before 8, but might go 4 before 9. I think Dunlo's about to hit his second item. Nope, it's transport. I thought it would be. And this transport is actually going to send Liquid Husband the wrong way. Because it's segmented off. He's only going to look for the item real quick in these 2 rooms, I think. Did I hear a roar from Dunlo's audio? What was that I heard? Was that an Aqua Menace or was that a Gleok? Well, in any event, it's a boomerang here, so Magic Boomerang is in level 4.
And that completes the item list.
Oh, it was a Troll Dorm. That's fair. Alright. Liquid Husband knows he can't get out of here now. Reconfirms with that bomb, so he's got to go back to start.
Dunlo enjoying himself perhaps a little too much with all these arrows, clearing out entire Overworld screens just with magic arrows.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see if this is a troll down here as well.
He's got to push that lock to get the door open.
Alright, so Liquid Husband's forced into the book. He just doesn't know it yet. And even with the wand getting fire when you do that, I would think you'd pick that up for 9, just to get it out of the way.
I mean, in a way, he needs it. If he's going to have a chance to catch up, he needs to know where he can bomb it.
Yeah, we'll see if Dunlo goes south or east here. I think east was the way to go. This looks like that's what it's going to do since it has the open doors.
Theory, the 9 that we saw, that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's slightly smaller than 9 that could be, right? Like, it could have been another 10 rooms or so.
9 after the update can be anywhere from like 40-ish rooms at minimum, since 7 and 8 both have to be smaller than it, all the way up to a full 64. It's just less likely that it could be all the way up to 64 now than it used to be. So what you see today is probably very nearly the smallest that it could be.
Yeah, it seemed on the small side, so when Liquid Husband has the book, I mean, it seems like it would give him some pretty good information when he walked in there. Not that it's worth it, but he gets to it. It's at least not a complete waste of his time like a boomerang would be.
Yeah. And he's going to take this bomb upgrade for certain. And that's going to get his bomb refill from 1 to 12, which is going to be great because he's going to walk into the Triforce room and realize he needs bombs. So he'll be plenty happy he has that now. Liquid Husband's going to clear this and hope it's a key, I think. And then he's going to go south and just burn the key, which is the right play. So this is actually going to come down mostly, I would say, to how long it takes Liquid Husband to get into 9. Because he's got a good chance to get into 9 before or right equal Dunlo. And Dunlo's going to have Ganon down, but all it takes is a right order through a staircase for Liquid Husband to be potentially in the position to steal this. You guys, with Dodongos, if you drop a bomb while smoke is still going off, you lose the bomb outright. So you gotta be careful doing that.
Just being a little free and easy with those bomb packs puts him in a tight spot with no bombs coming in potentially 9, depending on where he heads next. Either way, he's got exploration to do, and he's going to want them. He can afford just 1 pack, I believe, with that much money. Or no, he can afford 2, right? No problem.
I think it was 28, so he can get 2 and be 15 or so rupees away from being out. Yeah. So Dunlo's going to have instant Ganon. I don't think we've seen Zelda, although in theory she probably isn't too far away. We've seen so much of this 9 already. Liquid Husband's making perhaps the wild play into 8 in hopes that that's what's kind of slowed his opponent down. Or is just trying to farm, maybe? I'm not quite sure what he was up to.
The princess has finally been slain.
I don't think you ever pick 8 unless you are like full metagaming that Dunlo would have beaten you already. He's going to go into 4. This is a much safer play to make.
Still with 0 bombs.
Yes, but there are red dark nuts on your path here that you can go ahead and kill real quick. Alright, we know our count's 4 based on that clock, so we know we're nowhere near bomb count. You have to kill both of these Gibdos and the second one will drop 1. If you get the 40% chance. You cannot kill a Tektite in the process. Didn't get it. Now he's at 8, so he needs to kill 2 more enemies before the next bomb dropper will go.
He's got a good room for that, though.
There's the bombs. Now he's at 2. I want to say I saw him kill another enemy. He's going to kill this room first, which is a bit unfortunate because we know it's just a heart container. And actually, by process of elimination, if you track room for room, you know that. I don't do that, though.
On the bright side, he can get the magic sword bombs.
Yep, if it's the 20% chance, you could get him. Right, so now he knows it's the Patra for sure. But I think he'll end up running out of time here at some point in the next couple minutes, as Dunlo simply just does not have enough 9 left to really troll him. Magic Boomerang and Zelda found at the same time, in fact. Alright, let's get your G's up for Dunlo. 119.27 on the time.
Dunlo played a pretty smooth game there.
Yep, we'll get to see where Liquid Husband decides to go next. I think for sanity's sake, you probably don't want to go through the Wizrobes again in 8, so I would think probably 9, and if you can get it done in the next 15 or 20 minutes, he'll have a good tiebreaker set up for himself in the case that he finishes exactly with a record of 2 and 3.
Is that Dunlo in the chat?
That is.
Hey, good game. Really nice watching you play that.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been an interesting. I don't even know how many seeds of these Swiss flags I've played, but every single time level 9 has mattered. I didn't quite hit the whatever you want to call it of having both of my required items in 9. But yeah, it feels like about 80% of my seeds, something in 9 has mattered. So I decided to just go there when I was eligible. I lost last week against Shaddy because he did that and I didn't. And I was like, well, I'm not going out like that again. When I got a full Tringle, I'm going into 9. And I think it was the right play because I felt like I got through that 8 really fast because of having Magic Key.
Yeah, you definitely made the correct choice. Fury and I were talking back and forth about that right before you chose to go in there, and I had thought that was the right play, but I'm fairly / extremely inexperienced player of the randomizer. But I like the double duty that you can do with it. That at the very least you go in there with plenty of information about something.
Yeah, and I had found at least one boomerang, I think. Maybe I hadn't, actually. I don't know, but I know I found a heart container or something. I was looking at the items, and the way I was thinking about it was I was like, well, it can help me, even if one of them's there. And then Magic Key was there, too. So I was just, killing buyers and stuff in level 8. I might have bailed if it were like a Wizrobe level 9, but level 9 was pretty friendly. And yeah, I knew my options after I left 9. I had 2 items in 8. Wasted a bunch of time in 4 early to confirm that the item was Patra blocked, which I hate wasting time in a level where I already have the Triforce, but when it's 4, I'm like, whatever. So, I don't know. I felt like I solved the puzzle, and yeah, it went okay tonight.
Yeah, enemy sets seemed pretty kind in this. I didn't see any Gleox that I remember. I'm not sure if I remember seeing a Goma, even. I don't think there are a lot of big blocks to stop you with items and things like that. I don't remember. Do you remember a Dig Dogger block even, Fury?
No, there was one potential troll in level 2 with the Dig Dogger, and you could get trolled in level 6 in a one-off room. I think Dunlo got that treatment up in the northeast corner of it.
Yeah, Patra seemed like the only thing in the way, and there wasn't even really any especially unfortunate Overworld enemies that I thought came across either. It seemed like even the Overworld was not as bad as usual to traverse, so that was fortunate. It's just the items were not very often the least convenient possible place.
Yeah. I was just gonna say what was the one that was interesting was level 7, where the Triforce was the stupid triple Dodongo room. And I think I was a little fortunate that I already had a bomb upgrade and a white sword upgrade because I didn't bail on the room. Because my other option was to go back up top. There was like a segment blocked by, I think it was Zelda's room it was blocked by, or something. I couldn't bomb to part of the Southwest. So there was either a transport that was triple Dodongo or a Triforce, the room I cleared that had the Triforce. So I was like, well, crap, if this one's wrong, I'm going to spend 12 bombs. But I didn't want to go back up to the top and then be wrong and then waste a bunch of time. So that was kind of funny. I probably made the mathematically wrong play in some ways, because like the transport would have unlocked like 4 rooms, but I didn't want to get the ultimate Dodongo troll. So that was the only thing that was a little troll funny haha, was I had to guess which triple Dodongo was the correct one, and I can't believe the game gave me the right one. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty straightforward.
Now, Fury and I had seen you in that room, and we happen to know from Liquid Husband finding the compass there that was the correct room. So I was biting my knuckle, hoping you would ended up figuring it out, and then you kind of like went in the neighboring rooms a couple times, then you went back and took it right before, like right when it was the choice to either do that or up A. So I was happy to see you make the correct choice on that one.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm guessing, I'm looking at my map now, either I marked something wrong or the compass room had a Pole's voice in it, and maybe I didn't try to like despawn the Pole's voice or whatever. But because I had marked 1 as being like Pole's voice was the primary enemy. So it's a good thing that wasn't a stinking Triforce. That would have sucked to get that wrong. So at least I marked the compass, not the Triforce.
Yeah, the compass, if you remember where the Pole's voice primary enemy, or the Shutter Door Pole's voice room was, there was a room to the right of that, and that was where the compass was. You could go to the right off start and then go down to it. And that was the one room where the compass was, and that's where Liquid Husband found it. The transport staircase was beyond that Pole's voice, so you could not get trolled unless you had the bow or the wand to go through there.
Oh, so okay, so it would have been because there was a triple Dodongo in the northwest that was a possible staircase, so that would have been mega lame if I would have gone all the way back up there and it wasn't even the transport. So yeah, like I said, I guessed right a couple times tonight apparently.
Yeah, the triple Dodongo was just a bust. Liquid Husband cleared that early and then bailed because he had 1 or 2 bombs. I think he had 1 bomb left, and he was not interested in even trying to bomb the Alchemist or farm bombs to come back in there, so he just said, I'm out, and didn't get his book for a while, which I don't know that it really hurt him that much. He got the book eventually, as that's the only way through, is if you go past that Pole's voice room again, the other side of it, you couldn't bomb left because of the right-hand staircase of the book, and you couldn't bomb down because of the bomb upgrade, so you were stuck there.
Yeah, that, I don't know, yeah, like you were saying, I think the book, well, obviously the book always helps in 9, you know, like that's the big one, but everything else, 8, I think the map might have even been friendly in 8 if I would have got it. But yeah, not too much going on there. Level 1, I was kind of worried level 1 would have burned me. I hate going to 9 with an item left behind in 1, but before Magic Key, I really didn't want to give away a bomb or keys, so I just didn't pay that mugger. So that worked out fine too. So there were potential trolls, but the game decided to not hate me too much tonight for once.
Yeah, I was kind of beating you up a little bit on the commentary side on that, because I thought for a second that when you went in there to the mugger room that you saved, I was like, oh great, he's going to go back. Now that he's saved, he's going to check in if the item's not worth anything to him, he's just going to retry back out of it. But then you ran off a different direction and went into 9 first. I'm like, oh boy, this is a choice and a half.
I think I'm trying to think when I bailed on the mugger room twice. One time I went over to level 4. The other time, yeah, you're right. I think I had saved, right, and my save retry brain's usually pretty good, but I had visions of Shaddy dancing in my head, as hilarious a sentence as that is, where last week when I rewatched that thing, I was like, oh my God, I was sitting there and just every other level except 9 while he just got the 2 things he needed and beat me. And I was like, you know what? We're not going out like that. So we didn't go out like that, and it worked this time. But it doesn't always work.
Yeah, well, Shaddy's relying on his luck strat to pay big for him. It's not something that I ever get to go my way, so if it happens, it just happens for me. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a weird one.
It's a tough call to make. I thought for sure you were going to go back to 1 before 9 at least, and I figured 6 or 8 were reasonable enough to just bail and say we'll do this later. So I didn't see a problem with those at all.
Yeah, it was a weird dynamic knowing that 4 was blocked by the wand too. Like, had I found the wand in 9 first, I would have known right which room to go to. I actually feel like that was some of my best bomb counting swordless stuff. Was in level 4, the rooms that weren't the staircase. You know, clearing those dark nuts. I was like, hey, nice job. I didn't get hit by the patcher and kept my count. And then the game said, nah, we don't care. We're not giving you anything in this dungeon. But yeah, that's what's always it's weird doing math on the fly, and it's fun. But yeah, I'm gonna get the heck out of here. I just saw my baby monitor going off. I got a sick 2-year-old in the wife's bed, so I probably should stop sitting at the Nintendo. I'm gonna put y'all on the phone though while I rock the kid. Watch husband finish this thing out. So
Right.
yeah, thank you, commentators, restreamers, Fury for organizing the whole shebang and getting. I think we got like 100% coverage so far on the matches. So I'm watching all of them. I'm having fun in the tournament and appreciate the work everybody's putting in.
Thank you. Thanks for coming by. Nice
Yeah,
to meet
take
you.
care.
Yeah. So Liquid Husband's not too far away. I think 1 room away, in fact, from this boat at this point. So I don't think he'll be too much longer now.
I think he's going to exhale hard when he finally finds this.
Yeah, he's going to be thankful it's about to be over at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
And
does he
since-
know all the other pieces of the puzzle? Have you been paying close enough attention? When I was talking to Dunlo, I didn't. Sorry.
The roar is pretty much right off the bat, so he heard that. May not have the exact bomb hole or key door that he needs to go through for it, but he knows the exact room location at this point, so he's got enough resources to do it. And he was in the room to the left of Zelda and has the compass, so that's a easy enough find for him as well. I believe he also has a potion left. I believe I saw him get one, so it's pretty much done and dusted for Ganon as well.
As I watch him take this fight on, it's been a pretty deathless run too. I mean, I know that's a red ring run, but do you remember any deaths? I think everybody. I don't think there was any deaths, was there?
I don't remember seeing any. If there was, it was way back on like 3 or 4 hearts, maybe in a Wizrobe room. But,
yeah, some very competent combat overall, or at least they had all the resources they needed to get through this. So that's kind of nice to see.
Gotta be careful with the Deathless count for another minute or 2, though, as we are on beeping strats, so it's a little bit concerning.
He's got a potion, doesn't he? I know he used one a little while ago.
Yeah, he has one if he wants one. He's gonna go up into the shoot room and be sad again, I think. Might just up A from this, though. Or he's gonna get health, so he probably will not die here anymore. Just have to remember that pesky route back. I think this is the staircase to the one-off room that goes nowhere.
It eliminates one thing that he needed to know.
Yeah, he's gotten trolled by that room 2 or 3 times now, because I think he's gone back into it twice after knowing it. If you're racing in one of these, it gets to be very intense pressure-wise, so easy to make that mistake.
I would imagine that if you do these races enough, too, you jumble them a little bit in your head if there's some similar maps and things like that.
Yeah,
Is that accurate, or do you find that you can clear the slate pretty easily?
I mean, if you're racing back-to-back, it can get a little bit silly, but I don't think... When you're just playing the one-off, it's not too bad. So, I don't think Liquid Husband played a seat before this. I think he just practiced for a couple minutes, and then he's good to go with that.
What we need now. Taking revenge on the Tektites.
Yeah,
Oh,
can
please
fire
don't
away
go through all 70 arrows.
No, you won't. So 1:34:08 is his official time on the race time side. Which is roughly just under 15 minutes difference, so there's a little bit there for him as far
Sam,
as the tiebreaker goes.
I was hoping you'd use one more, Sam.
So we'll get the cam scroll as we wait for him to jump up into the booth. And we're joined by Liquid Husband. GG's.
Hey, I assume Mr. Dunlo had to go ahead and cut out, but props to him for his performance.
Yeah, he's watching on his phone while having the baby in one arm.
I can relate to that. It was interesting. I feel like he and I are fated to meet up at all times in week 3 of Swiss, as the overmatched, underrated 0-2 matchup every single time. But it was an interesting pairing because he and I have some parallels. He and I are both people who I think of ourselves as, well, we have a little bit of advantage against other people when doing swordless because we have, we're not as afraid of it as the average person is, but unfortunately that advantage for me goes away when the other person is the exact same way and just happens to be better at swordless than me. So, again, yeah. Props to him. I'm just glad that my gamble of course, the one time I don't gamble for the item in level 9, that's where it is. Not that my dig of level 4 took 12 minutes, but...
On the other hand, you went into 6 with the wand, which Dunlo did not do, and that probably saved you a lot. You also dug 1 all the way through and got the whistle, which saved you a little time. So you had some good...
I was proud. I was pleased with that move because once I got the ladder, I was fine with giving up a 1 bomb capacity, knowing that I was going to get 2 back on the coast. So I was like, oh well, I'll throw this bomb away to see if there's another good item on the other side. And like you said, that's where the recorder was. That was. Yeah.
When you finally did dig 9 and you found the magic key, I felt like.
I knew that's exactly what I was going to find at that point because I had 8 keys or however many, so I was like, well, I know what the first item I'm finding here is, but
I felt your heart sink a little bit when you found half the items you needed were out of play, and it was almost completely useless at that point.
Yeah. I'm just really glad the bow wasn't an 8 because I didn't feel like dealing with that entry room in level 8 yet again. So.
You don't like using up all your bombs?
I really don't. I am resource stingy to a fault. And, it can get me in trouble sometimes, but I would rather, especially knowing that, there's going to be a bunch of triple Dodongo rooms where I forget how to lay bombs on the floor. I need to conserve those as much as I can.
I'll say this.
Dunlo had some. Go ahead.
I'll say this. I think when you watch it back, the one place that I would say Dunlo had you a little bit was bomb forcing, and it kind of saved him for some situations in some certain rooms, especially in that 4 with the blue dark nuts. He kept forcing off of the old man behind the Patra that was blocking the item in the end, and then going all the way back down, bombing twice, getting a bomb drop off the blue dark nuts, and continuing as he got low. I think overall probably forced 6 or 7 bombs in the seed. And it just made his seed go a little bit smoother so that he had the time to go into 8 and see the boomerang and the rafts. And he didn't get to see the magic boomerang, unfortunately, as we would all love to see it. But
I did see it, but if I had realized, I guess I should have known that you were involved, Fury. Maybe I should have picked it up. But in solidarity, for those of us who prefer the one true nanner, but I'm in these. I tend to laser focus on watching my global versus worrying about the consecutives because I know things are going to hit me. And I'm not saying it's a valid strategy, but it's the one that I employ.
Very kind of soul red meat. I was going to say something like what you just said, but less finesse. On top of that, Dunlo did have an nice pausing strats and a little bit of luck with the darkness. Or it wouldn't have gone quite as smoothly as it did for him, but it was a sight to see the way he was handling it.
Yeah, no, he has really put a lot of work in, like, vanilla swordless. So, like, I think he may have even done, like, reverse dungeon order swordless, which is a ridiculous category to even think about. The dude's a competitor, and I feel no shame in losing. I always want to play my best, and if I did or didn't, that's on me. But my opponent, I'm sure, given some of the difficulties that this one presented and some of the difficulties he's expressed to me, I think he had said he hadn't seen a wand before 50 minutes yet with this flag set, which, I mean, it certainly was north of an hour for me, but I don't know what it was like for him, but...
7 or 8 minutes later.
So I had the wand first?
Oh yeah, he had the bow before you. You had the wand before him.
Oh, so he was digging 9 for without bow or wand.
Yeah, he was going for the information and the Shaddy gamble, since I think he was Shaddy's opponent when Shaddy got both the bow and the wand, so he was having flashbacks. I have
done the double item gamble for level 9 before. It's yet to work out the way I think it would, but man, that's a gutsy play.
He also had the item, the recorder, in 1 outstanding as well. So I didn't give him too much flack for the gamble overall, as far as not going back to 8, but not going to 1 to see what that item was, he got a little bit.
He left, I would say, if he left an item outstanding in level 1 while he was still looking for 2 crucial game-winning items, I can only imagine what fury hath wrought upon him. But hey, I liked having the recorder. Especially with these flag sets where you start with 3 Triforces, if I just remember how to use it, that'll help me. It helps me track down some things I might be looking for late in the seed. Didn't work out that way this time because I just never found level 3 or level 6 early enough, so I kept going back into like 2 and 7, or 2 and 8 and 4, 2 and 4 mostly, trying to find some sort of game opening item, but it wasn't that. I just needed to go dig out level 6 and such up on Death Mountain, so that was the play that needed to be made.
Yeah, I don't find fault in your logic after finding the wand, though. You went to 7, which you needed to find the Triforce, and you could happen upon the item along the way. And then going back to 4 with the wand makes enough sense because it's down to 1 or 2 rooms, and it's down to specifically the Patra if you know that the heart container's not been found in there yet.
Yeah.
So that was a fine play. And then you went to 8. I'm like, uh-oh, this looks scary to me. But then you bailed on that. And so I was like, okay, I think you played out the end game well. Just unfortunately, you were probably 5 or 6 minutes behind at that point. So it was just one of those where those digs that we know didn't necessarily work out for you as much, even though they're the right plays, ended up giving you a little bit more of a time deficit in the overall finish.
That's all right. Again, I'm not disappointed with my performance. I think my execution has gotten a little better every single race, and eventually I'm going to catch up to my competition, or they're going to fall to me, and we will turn this thing around. But if not, I'm having fun either way, and that's really when you're doing this on your 1 day off every week while in the midst of professional sports season, that's the way you got to look at it. I mean, just here to have fun, and I do appreciate everybody participating and all y'all, giving your time. Fury, I know you're around the clock almost literally. I wish I could give more, because I know it's a bad look to be a sandbag in the community like this, but I really do appreciate everybody. giving of their time. No matter how snarky or salty I can be sometimes, I do appreciate it.
Yep. No worries on the real life commitments. Happy to have everybody along for the ride. And we'll look forward to you next week. Hopefully, maybe rooting for Saber. Well, maybe you're rooting to face Saber, but hopefully rooting for him to get out of that first, that you can get away from that. But
I'd be
always
fine
some
with
fun. Some fun opponents in this. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you're going to go down into 0-3, you're still going to get somebody fun. So it's
Yeah. Like I've other than the fact that Dunlo and I get paired up constantly, the fun in this for me is facing new people. Week 1 going up against Redbird, who has been a good friend and confidant within the community for me for 5 years probably now, and we've never raced against each other. That was great. Second round, Dick Shake, who I have immense respect for creating an incredible randomizer for an absolutely terrible game. And
as I say, don't remind him of that.
Low, I kind of see as a parallel to me, but like Saber, I've never racing Saber, that'd be wild. I mean, I don't want to root against him because he's such a nice guy, but sure, bring it on in week 4. I can always wait till week 5 to get my win. It'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's why I keep begging for like Psytown or Third Wolf. Just give me someone that is like truly hard, like the top of the top runners, because I love the challenge. And I'll certainly enjoy my race this week with Ivasak, but I live for kind of those big matches against people that are better than me, so I can kind of try and chase them down.
Yeah, and Sak has been on fire in this tournament so far. I kind of, we kind of had the same trepidations about joining, and he has somehow, he's turned that into some sort of motivation or fuel or fire or that which he desires or something like that, because he's been fantastic so far. Props to him for that West Coast bias that the randomizer has.
What were you just quoting there? Fuel and fire, that what he desires.
I think it's a Metallica song, but don't quote me on that.
It got Johnny Cash out vibes from me. I was curious.
That's probably because of my voice and the location from the country from which I come from.
Yep, at least you're there and you're not northeast of where I'm at. I'm well and truly happy to have even a Predators fan in here as opposed to some other situation.
I'm just waiting for my entire roster here in Nashville with the Sounds to get traded for Juan Soto. That's my file names here. Working for the Brewers AAA team, but yeah, you guys, again, I do appreciate it. This is my one night a week to see my wife, so I'm gonna go do that now. But I appreciate all of y'all's hard work, and we're getting near the top of the hour, so it seems like as good a time as any for me to duck on out of here, guys. Thank you.
No problem.
Great meeting you, Lincoln.
Yep, Dark Falls also had to run. He got niece percented, so it's all fun and games all over the place. So shout-outs to Dark Falls, the tracker, for being there.
Yeah, I got mine on the front end. I was delayed getting into the race room because my daughter requested a song, so...
yeah. And double Deathless Seed for the runners. The Red Ring,
well,
obviously, being great, but...
4 seconds in, you get... I've got 12 hearts, And
yeah, but still, Wiz Robes and other things can get you. So.
We've both played this game enough to not die when you have when you start with 12 hearts. But
yeah.
again, I'll leave for real this time. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Great game.
Yeah. So real quickly here, we have a full slate of games again tomorrow. Almost got even the commentary and tracking teams ready to go on those. So SpeedGaming is going to have the 6 o'clock, the 9 o'clock, and the 1 a.m. shift. Alsoa Roost Slugs at 6, Sis Crusher and J Smash at 9, Zarnax 42 and J Coper at 1 a.m. Eastern Time. And then on SpeedGaming 4, we'll have Shaddy and Sigil at 10 o'clock. So those are the 4 games tomorrow. Once again, going to go ahead and say if you're interested in joining the community, whether it be as a racer, as a commentator, or a tracker. We always welcome anybody who wants to come into the community and take part in any of those roles. We have a Discord set up, so if you jump on into the Discord for Zelda 1 Randomizer at any point in time and feel like you want to get involved, feel free to come on in and ping one of us or locate one of the commentary threads or tracking threads and say, hey, I'd love to get involved. But I enjoy having new racers, new comms, new trackers, anything, so feel free to jump on into it. Spear Magic Helmet, any final thoughts on this one before we wrap up and head on out?
No, I had a great time with this. We're just reinforcing it's a lot of fun to be commenting. I'm a new commentator. It's fun to be part of the community. It's a really close, welcoming community as someone that's new to the groups. So I would encourage anybody as well to jump right in if you feel so inclined.
Well, with that, we'll let everybody get out of here for the night. We'll see you tomorrow with some more Zelda 1 randomizer action in this week 3 of All Boards, No Swords.
Thanks a lot.